KC9VKV, WA3MIX. Hello, Jim. Name here is Lou, Lima Oscar Uniform, and I'm in Williamsport, PA, Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Over.
Roger, Roger. In Williamsport, what's the name?
Name is Lou, Lima Oscar Uniform.
Roger, Roger. That's my Elmer's name. I got to remember that for sure, Roger.
Yeah, just wondering how the audio sounds on this end. I'm running an LOUE-WA3MIX K-3. Only about 90 watts, and the antenna's a G5RV at 40 feet.
Sounds good. I've got this banner that I'm waving about high frequency in the audio. If it were me, I would crank in 2 or 3 more clicks on the top end to help the definition on the upper edges of your words, your audio. Roger.
Yeah. Okay, Jim. I do have EQ'd it to my ear, and I should maybe do a little more of that. I cranked in quite a few highs already, but it's a Shure SM58 mic, and maybe it needs that's more a broadcast and high end audio mic. And when you use those with sideband rigs, usually you have to boost the top end a little bit because that's where the intelligibility is. But anyway, don't have an amplifier here, so just glad to be heard anywhere. KC9VKV, WA3MIX.
Roger, Roger. What sounds good. I mean, the basic EQ is there. Just trying to bring the HF community into the VHF, UHF world as far as the quality of the audio. Although we do have certain limitations that the FCC puts upon us in HF, we still can do, we have to go out of our way to try to get our audio into the nice defined area, and a bright audio is very necessary when you're facing the challenges of noise. If your signal is right there fighting with the noise, you want your audio to be as clean and clear as possible, and those high frequencies do help the enunciation of your words cut through the noise to the point that your signal can be right under the noise, and folks can still perceive what you're saying because your audio is nice and crisp. Roger?
Yeah, absolutely. I've worked in broadcasting in fact, I just retired after 47 years or so, and that's what I always tell people when critiquing their audio, that bass is fine for warmth, but the intelligibility is all in the treble, so you certainly want to put some of that in there. For a while I ran a D104, and I liked it because it's got a built-in presence rise to it, and I had a impedance matching op-amp circuit in the base of it to match the impedance. The D104, as you probably know, likes to look into a really, really high impedance, megohms, 10 megohms or more, but the input on most transceivers, of course, is considerably lower than that, so that's what that circuit did, and it worked fine, but it was prone to RF getting into it, so I switched to the Shure SM58 here and re-EQ'd for that. So anyway, good to talk to you, Jim. I'll let you go and see who else you can dig up there. Hope the weather is as good there in Louisville as it is here. It's beautiful and sunny and in the 70s. KC9VKV, WA3MIX.
Roger Lou, Roger Lou. That audio is good. I mean, it's got quite a bit of crispiness to it there on the top end as I listened a little bit more. So if you get a chance, I would add a couple of dB, a couple of clicks on the top end there for just a little more push on the syllabic range. But by and large, I think you're there. And we're doing a thing now where we're trying to help people become more aware aware of their mic technique and their end product on the air, and we are suggesting that they use their watt meter as a VU meter in sideband. You know, a watt meter reflects the amplitude of your voice pretty well. So if you're watching your watt meter as you speak, you can tell when you happen to pull off mic like that, your watt meter drops off, and when you're working it like normal, it should be up there where it normally is. You know, and the more you look at your watt meter, you begin to associate your voice with the loudness, so you become your own compressor, matter of fact, and you speak in a tone where each word is pretty much similar in level to the word before it and the word after it. Roger?
Yeah. It's good to monitor. I do also monitor in the headphones. Let me try something. Let me make a slight adjustment. And that's a little bit, I backed off a little bit on the processing. I wonder if you are hearing any difference, Jim. Over.
Yes, I am. You are now about 3 dB dynamic range. Before you were about 2.5 to 2 dB dynamic range. What we usually are shooting for is a 3 dB dynamic range, which is an average percent of peak modulation of between 80 and 85%. You were pushing just a tad more than that.
Okay, well, I put it back to where it was before. So, and it's the dynamic mic, and I kind of wish I had the D104 here because it did have, as I say, that nice presence rise built into it, but it was also prone to RF, so I went to the dynamic. All right, we'll let you go, Jim. 73, nice to run into you, and maybe we'll catch you again here sometime soon. Take care. KC9VKV, WA3MIX.
Roger, Lou. Now, my Elmer was telling me a sad tale of woe the other day. He called, and he was talking about he went with a friend to pick up a radio, an exciter, for the big radio, and I think they traveled about 200 miles to find this exciter, and I'm not really sure what it was, but it was like an older Johnson Ranger or something like that, about 100 watts or so, driving a bunch of bigger tubes, if you know what I mean there. And Elmer had worked with the guy to set it all up, and had backed out of the room just for a minute to go wash his hands, and all of a sudden there was this commotion, all kinds of noise, the lights dimmed. He came running back into the radio room of this guy, and apparently this guy decided that he didn't like the, I think it was RE20 microphone that they were using. He didn't like that, so he had unplugged that microphone and plugged in a D104, and it took off like a big bird, and there were pieces and shrapnel all over the room, Roger.
Yeah, if they're not matched and not set up properly, you can have all sorts of problems. I'm certainly familiar with the RE20 and the D104, but the RE20s have been in most of the broadcast stations I've worked in over the decades. So they're beautiful mics, and they have a nice warm sound, but they tend to need a little help too. Even on the broadcast stations, we usually had a mic processor behind them to shape them a little bit and brighten them up a little bit too, because they tended to have a rather bassy sound.
Roger, but just imagine the gain difference between that RE20 and the D104, and the ability of the D104 to attract all kinds of RF, and they were in, when he keyed down, they were in a heavy RF field. Yep,
I can imagine. That must have gone crazy. The rig, I don't know whether it went into oscillation or what, but that would be kind of crazy. All right, I'm going to run, Jim, and I'll let you see who else you can find here. Thanks for the QSO and for the comments, and we'll catch you again. KC9VKV, WA3MIX.
Roger, Roger, Lou, 3's that way, sir. Have a good afternoon. And pleasures on this end. If you get a chance, go to YouTube and hear your great audio. Do a call letter search on YouTube for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. And when you get to our Qso-Vlog page, you'll be looking for a Qso entitled My Group Air Check 9/20/19. Today's date, My Group Air Check 9/20/19. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and this is the Qso-Vlog Network. If you have a radio you want to check out the audio, we are recording now live till 5. This is KC9VKV.